Stu and Matt from Wolf Music, a record label and DJ partnership.
We're here in Brighton today because if you trace back the origins of Wolf and how it all started, I guess it was just a couple of roads away from where we are now that I picked up the phone and called Stu and asked him if he wanted to get involved in a new idea I had for a record label. Our artists that we started working originally, it all came from connections down here, working at Mr. Bongo Records, which is based in Brighton, still is.
The spiritual home of Wolf.
The spiritual home of Wolf is Brighton.
I first met Matt and Stu probably 12, 13 years ago. We were running a club night, had Austin Lardy come down, Matt and Stu came down to that night. I think it was the first weekend Matt moved to Brighton. My first Black Fan release was on Wolf, Hercules and the Beast on Wolf White. Their knowledge, their passion was really beyond their years. And of course they're lovely guys.
You want to answer that? How should we should probably...
You go first on this one, then I'll go first on the next one.
The name Wolf comes from basically a nickname that Matt gave me. I had long hair, similar to what I have now, a beard, and he actually said that I looked like the part in Teen Wolf where he's changing from a human to a wolf, and then, yeah, Wolfie was the name that stuck.
We thought from that really good imagery could be coming from it. We didn't know another Wolf music, so why not?
We met each other, many years ago at a party in my hometown where Matt was DJing. He instantly recognised that I was a nerd as well, and straight away you've got a connection.
If you're in a club environment, then you have a common thread or something that you can both agree on, and things start from there. And I've made some of the closest friends of my life through that, and I met Stu.
Yeah, it wasn't until several years later that we had the opportunity to start Wolf.
Late 60s, when it started to crystallise more into what you'd call the soul, which then became known as disco, and that continued into house, and then that's really what we judge ourselves on.
Forward-thinking house music, but with still a nod to the past.
House music's a feeling, so it's the way it makes you feel as well, and you either get that or you don't. Would you agree or disagree?
Do I have to go through the whole thing?
Sorry, yeah.
This is why I got into music, not acting. So my favourite Wolf memory would be the first release with you guys. In fact, getting a cease and desist from Michael Henderson, it was humbling to know that he's obviously into Wolf and he's checking us out and he's listening to us.
Just generally travelling around with everybody and playing together has been amazing over the years. And yeah, it's a real privilege to play with your friends and ultimately the same guys on the label. It's a very special thing.
My worst Wolf memory is probably the day after every gig we ever did, I think. I can't suffer hangovers, whereas Stu and the boys are just back on the Bloody Marys.
Before we actually met, I did the Felix Lemfring thing, and then I think Madler from Wolf, he played the Felix Lemfring records. Half a year later, we started working as Fritz Wenting, I guess, yeah. Most favourite Wolf memories when we played together in Croatia Garden Festival 2 years ago. And then we first did the boat party, and then afterwards, a friend of ours had a yacht for some reason. I don't know why he had the yacht. We just spent the whole night there. I had to go back on shore to get my stuff to get back to the airport. There was no possibility to even get off of the yacht except for swimming. Me and this guy called Richard, we went on a canoe, a one-person canoe, to go to the shore. And then I left I just lost my Airbnb key in the sea, and my phone died, and it was horrible.
People forget But like 10 years ago, there wasn't the record shops, there wasn't the people buying the records. The runs were a lot smaller in terms of how many people were pressing.
All the big guys were moving to digital, and digital was the thing, and everyone was pushing that, and everyone was trying to make digital work as a kind of model for, could you run a record label without selling 5,000 copies of vinyl? We were offered a flyer from our first release, and that really set us up. I mean, we were living off that first release, 4 or 5 releases in. We were shocking quite a few other labels we talked to when they were asking us about the amount of records we were selling, because a lot of them had dropped down to such small numbers, or they weren't doing it at all.
You know, music should be for everyone, and that's why we also release everything on digital as well, slightly after our vinyl release, but you know, at least that way someone who maybe not close to a record store, or you know, can't pay the postage for a record to be sent, at least he has access to our catalogue, which to me is the most important thing. One of the other things we do is we also do a monthly radio show in Peckham at Ballamy, playing sort of all styles. The occasional guest. Again, it's quite nice to show a different side of the music that we're into, as well as playing new Wolf music stuff as well.
We're the sort of music nerds who want to share that with other people, not keep it to ourselves what's good. We want to let everyone, as many people hear it as possible. That's the whole reason we probably run a record label. Grey Matter, KRL, Medlar, we had a core group of artists that were unique to us. Me and Stu making the final decision if a record would make it or not, but everything was shared between each other. What do you think? And as producers, they'd help each other. We're the only ones that had those guys making music on our label and for no one else. So rather than just being a label that was asking random people for demos because we like their music, it was more of a family thing.
First met Wolf Music around 10 years ago. I was doing an internship with Mr. Bongo Records in Brighton. Shortly after that, I started making music that fit within their style, so sending music to Matt. So yeah, just went from there, really. And became one of the most featured artists, I guess, along with KRL and Grey Matter, Fritz, One Think Later. Yeah, I guess I'm like one of the little sons of the Wolf family.
Playing with Wolf and playing in London was 2 things that came together, you know. We got to know these guys, we started playing here, we met, we hung out, we played at the same parties, we visited each other's parties.
They had this family type of feel. It was the very early days, you know, we just were sitting in Matthias' living room making beats, and then we got just asked in the right time for a track, you know, and the track was there. Once we got to know all the people involved in Wolf and a little bit about their backgrounds, you know, it was really great to see that they feed off so much different music. You know, they're involved in working for other labels that do lots of different music, and all of them have a quite broad range of music they like. It's just not your straight house label, it's a label that is influenced by lots of stuff.
I met Matt and Stu at a small club in Southampton. They were fledgling teenage fanboy DJ wannabes at that point. They were really keen, they were really positive, they were into good music. The roles were very much reversed after our initial meeting, where I was sort of Bobby Big Bollocks. If I described them as fanboys before, I think it probably reversed a little bit. I was pretty impressed with the music that they were putting out. When I used to get one sent through, there was always a bit of a buzz of excitement, and then I do recall feeding back and thinking, you know, sort of if your release is in Jim, you've got to calm down here, mate. You've got to, you know, you really, you know, don't just act cool. Just act cool. Got the music, played the music, was a fan of the music. We were friends, we always kept in touch. That's what makes Wolf unique, is that it is first and foremost a passion project. It's really just 2 lads who are passionate about music, and I think that's what sets Wolf apart from other independent labels of that ilk.
Who do I like most out of Matt and Stu?
I don't know.
I don't think anyone's going to answer you that.
It's not even like because of
It's not even
nice.
a funny question.
No.
Who do I like more, Matt or Stu?
I don't know, I feel quite mean picking a favourite.
Well, I'm going to say I think they've said him, because that's how my mind works. But if they value their lives, they wouldn't have done.
I don't think anyone would have answered that question.
I hate it both.
I think I like Matt way more. He's definitely the better looking one. He's the guy with the long hair, right? The guy with the beard, and yeah, I like that guy.
I don't mind either of them that much.
Been on a couple of quite fun excursions of Stu. We went to Brazil last year, yoga retreat in Croatia for a week.
Matt is a funny character. Stu I have as the sort of, the voice of reason.
I can't stand either of them.
I can't do it. I can't do it. It's gonna break the label down.
I think both Matt and I bring different things to run the label, and I think that's how it works, and that's why we've been able to sustain the label.
We've never really argued, fallen out. We've been in very stressful situations. As soon as you run a record label, run a business or whatever way you want to look about it, there's a great opportunity to fall out and stress and argue and have differences of opinion.
My favourite Wolf moment, we played a festival. We were playing quite early. It was a Wolf music stage. It's a real fun occasion. Maybe we'd had a bit too much to drink early on. And then Matt went missing halfway through the night. We finally found him sort of moving across the horizon with his hood up. It looked like a kind of the Grim Reaper had said he's been lost in a fairground ride called Jungle Madness.
The festival security tried to throw me out, and all I could say was, I'm an artist, I'm an artist. I regret nothing. Yeah, next question, please.
There's been a lot of good memories. The Studio 80 in Amsterdam was really amazing. The Wolf Music Croatia boat party was great.
Playing at Barbarella's, Love International at Croatia.
Croatia Garden Festival.
When we did the Garden Festival in Croatia, we did the daytime boat party. Best gig I ever did. Had all the crew there, except Medler. Medler wasn't there, was
I don't even remember what the question was. Something about
8 years.
Why Stu's hair so long? Something like that.
So the first time we came to Croatia was through a booking, just a DJ, at the former site in Petrocan, which was Dave Harvey booked us for Garden Festival. He now runs Love International. It's a kind of continuation of the previous festival. And then from there we were asked back to do a boat party. And then that's kind of followed suit every year. We've done the club, Barbarella's, and we've also done the other stage at Olive Grove as well.
The first time we played, it was like a early afternoon set on a main stage, but it wasn't particularly that busy, was it? It was strange. And then to get invited back the next year to do the boat, which was a huge step up, because the boat's always been something like legendary that we talked of, and it was exciting the thought of going on a boat party, but to actually be running one. I remember getting the email and thinking, wow, is this actually happening? Because this is not what I expected kind of the natural progression would be from doing the warm-up set to one of the kind of key highlights of the festival. But every year the boat's sold out, which has been amazing for us.
Barbarella's.
Yeah.
That year we did Barbarella's, and we played with Detroit Swindle and Medler. And Matt and I played the last hour. Barbarella's is an open-air club, and you're there till about 6 o'clock in the morning. So around 4:35, the sun starts coming up. It's been quite a magical experience. That was one of my favourite DJing experiences, actually.
Doing this film here in Croatia is, the perfect place for us, because it's been somewhere where we've been able to grow as a label and actually play records so that the people are into what we do. House music has really come onto its own and had a little bit of a revival, I would say. You've seen so many younger people here and loving the sound and all the disco and everything that's made house music. So as well as watching us grow, we can see the scene develop here as well.
In the middle, you went off on quite a nice tangent that had some nice bits in there.
I'm happy to do more bits like that. Just get me going. I'm ready to go. Give me a take. I can't see this drive to love, collect music and release music will ever change. So as long as the music, for me, still interests me, we'll be able to talk about Wolf 100, our 100th release, and we'll have different kind of stories to tell, but that same core passion for the music will be there.
I feel very fortunate that we managed to keep the label going.
We didn't set out for a long-term thing. It was just, let's see what happens. It wasn't, let's build an empire or let's do this or that. It was never like that. It was one record at a time, and it's not one record at a time now, is it? It's more of we've got a body of work that we respect and we want to protect and also promote.
Genres and trends change every couple of years, so if we're still able to release the music that we love and we're passionate about, then that would be fantastic, and still releasing on vinyl.
Trace house music back to the start of music in some sort of way, its roots. It's not like here's house, here's this, here's that. It's a continuation of a thing, and I think that will continue. As long as people still enjoy dancing and still enjoy the groove, then that will forever be here. You'll hear different sounds, you'll hear different styles, but it will still be the same core thing. It's here to stay. Just like
house music is here to stay. House music is here to stay. Big thanks to Paulo for all his hard work in making this film happen.
I look forward to my red carpet invitation.
I started making house music.
Well, I wouldn't recommend paying for this hotel. Yeah. They need to improve on the breakfast. That's really what counts for us.
I remember you called me around 4 o'clock or like 3:30, and I was supposed to play 4 o'clock. And you asked, where are you? And I said, at home watching football.
But I didn't know what to expect because I actually hadn't even been on a boat at that time, a party boat. Yeah, I'm from Portsmouth. I was born to the sea. Wolf Music Recordings, it's a record label, an entertainment powerhouse.